All right. We're asked to write the equation of a circle with center at 7, 0 and radius of 3. So it always helps to rewrite our formula, x minus h, quantity squared, plus y minus k, quantity squared, equals r squared, where r is our radius, and h and k are the center of the circle. All right. So I'm not going to be rewriting this over and over every time. Make sure you get this kind of in your notes and you're using that as a foundation. For you as students, you may want to rewrite it every time as you use it, but that's kind of your choice. All right. So basically, I would just say plug things in. Don't just look at the answers and guess. Actually do the problem. It's not too bad. So this is your h, this is your k, and this is your r. So that would turn into x minus 7 quantity squared plus the 0 on the k, so that would be y plus 0, 0 on k, equals r. R is 3, and then we have to square it. To simplify, x minus 7 squared plus y squared equals 9. All right, and looks like that's it right there. Okay, let me know if you have any questions on any of these. What are the coordinates of the center and the radius of this one? Well, that's our h, that's our k, and then this is r squared right here. The trick is I like to think of opposites for h and k when you're plugging this in. So if you notice, this is a -4 here. The opposite of -4 would be +4. So I'm talking about our center now. The opposite of -3 is +3. That's our h and our k. R squared is 25. So basically it's saying what number squared is 25, or you do the square root of both sides. Don't forget Sanders always likes that plus or minus. We're talking about a radius, it's always positive. So R is equal to +5. Okay? Sometimes you might actually have things that you have to simplify here. So radius of 5, center at 4, 3. Take the time on each one of these. What is the equation? So we need the center. The center is, and I like one of the things that I've learned from some of my mistakes is just mark it. That's at -1. This is at -1. So that's at -1, -1. Radius is 1, 2, 3 units. We get a lot of radiuses of 3. Even my example was that. And then when we plug it in to our equation, x, the opposite of -1 would be +1. The opposite of -1 would be +1. And our radius squared, if I square 3, we get 9. And if you need to show your work, you can. That's fine. So that would be 3 squared is where that came from. All right. And then we just make sure we look at which one matches exactly what we have here. So just kind of be careful. Number 4. Is this exactly the same? What is the equation of the circle? So sorry about that. Looks like we got a duplicate. So exactly the same work here. All right, number 5. What does HK stand for in the standard circle equation? So that is our center. That's our center. So HK is the center of the circle. HK is a point that we guess and find. HK is a point on the circle. HK is the distance of the circle. Center. Number 6, what does H stand for Well, I always like to think x minus h, quantity squared, plus y minus k, quantity squared, equals r squared. So looking at our formula, notice h is paired with x. So h is the x component of the center. So it's not the radius, that would be r. H is the distance of the circle. I'm not sure what it even means by distance. H is the y coordinate of the circle. Nope, it's not next to y. It's not the y part. H is the x coordinate in the point. I think that would probably be the best one, but it should be the y. H is the y in the coordinate point. H is the x in the coordinate point. So I think it means by center here. Let me just verify. That one's not worded very well. Okay. Yep. So that's the closest one out of all of these. It's definitely not the y. Distance doesn't make any sense, and it's definitely not the radius. What does the R stand for? All right. So R is R, has that same letter in the word, radius. That's the distance from the center to the outside. R is the radius. It's the y coordinate, x coordinate, the distance. I'm not even sure what they mean by distance. All right, what is the center and the radius? Hopefully you're getting better at this. So the center comes from the x and the y components. And then our radius has a play in here. So that would be the opposite of this 4, or negative 4 and negative 2. So our center is the opposite of negative 4, it's positive 4. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. And then the radius, that 25 is radius squared. I feel like I just did this. Maybe some of these are repeating. So square root to get r by itself. Don't forget your plus and minus. R, since it's a distance from the center to the outside, is always going to be positive. So radius 5, center 4, 2. Just be careful which one it is. Two more. In this equation, x minus 3 squared, y minus 2 squared equals 16. The center of the circle is, so it's the opposite of what these numbers are. That's a negative 3, so it'd be positive 3. That's a negative 2, so it'd be positive 2. 3, 2. Just make sure you pick the right one. All right, so take your time on these. Almost done. Last one. All right. The equation in the radius of the circle is. So be careful. This is in the radius squared portion. The radius squared is 4. So r squared is equal to 4. To get r by itself, we do the square root to both sides. Practice undoing the square with that plus or minus sign. R equals, since it's a radius, that's like the distance from the center to the outside, that would be positive 2 only. All right.